What is going on, all-terrain nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, or these badass pickup trucks you guys know I love to drive, this is your all-terrain nation. It's presented by me today. So we got a sponsor that's going to step up. I know it, but till then, we'll just keep saying it's presented by me because it actually is. I hope everybody is having a good Friday. Last Friday of the year of May. Man, summer is basically here, and before we know it, summer will be gone, and that's kind of a bummer to me because I'm a summer guy, and I like getting my off-road trucks out there and getting them dirty. What's going on, Anthony? I like to take pickup trucks and go do them, and in the wintertime, you know. I like to get out in the wintertime, but not as much because, well, I work outside a lot as is. So, anyways, what's up? Always different. Hope everything is well, man. Thank you for asking, by the way. I appreciate that. Tried some new things. Like I said, I may start doing a mid-size truck show during Friday afternoon. See if you guys like to tune in. I know some people like to just tune in at work. What's up, Maki fan? And just listen. And it's a visual thing, but you can listen to it. And we'd appreciate all the views. Today, I want to talk about some issues that I see coming up for on the Toyota brand. What a nightmare. We're going to get into that a little bit because I know Tundra is a big truck, but I think this can lead into, dent the reliability issues that the Tacoma's had, right? Because everybody thinks, oh, Tacoma is just so reliable. So I want to talk about that a little bit. And I want to compare my time in the previous, that truck, the Ranger and the Colorado, because I think there's a lot of similarities, but I think there's also some big differences. And I think ultimately, especially if you want the ultimate off-road vehicle, I think one's going to prevail. Now, clearly, I've seen the comments in my latest videos. I did a video where I dropped a comparison of the two latest and greatest, and I'll see if I can pull up my channel graphics here. But I like both trucks. If I'm comparing just the Ranger Raptor versus the Colorado, I want to get into this just a little bit as we start into this because I've seen the comments and I think a lot of them are justified, but I also think that sometimes people just freak out with their comments. But I kind of want to show you this. So let's go ahead and bring this up, and we will get into this one. So let's make sure I got the right thing. And yes, here we go. Comment time. And you guys, so comments mean a world to us here on YouTube. I don't care if it's your favorite channel. Interaction means the world, and it opens up access doors that YouTube kind of keeps blocked from time to time. So when you guys comment a lot like this, it helps the channel grow, and I greatly appreciate that. But there's been a lot of pro Ford and a lot of like the line is drawn when it comes to Chevrolet or Ford. And that's one reason why I wanted to do this video, because you guys know I own a Ranger Raptor. I was excited. I've been very excited by the Ranger Raptor and still excited by that truck. It's outlandish in all the fun ways that it should be. It follows through with what I think it should do. And so that's one reason why I've been very excited by it. But the ZR2, especially in the Bison form, man, 35-inch tires. And I've seen a lot of comments of people going, well, you can put 35s on it without the Bison package. And you guys know I modify vehicles like crazy. I love doing that. But when I do these these press tours, I have to take apples and apples or oranges to apples. I can't look at, well, you can do this. When I do these comparison testings, it has to be, hey, this is how they're presenting them. So this is how I'm going to review the vehicle. And, once again, it is amazing to me, the Ford versus Chevrolet line in the sand. And it was to be expected, but there was also a lot of people that were like, hey, man, I'm a Chevrolet guy. And that 3-liter in the Raptor is pretty spicy and would make me want to switch. And I've seen the opposite. I've seen the 35-inch tires. I want the ultimate badass off-road truck. And, well, the Bison might be the one for me. And I'm going to get into it. We got a video that I'm going to drop of the Bison. We did a road test on it as well. And I'm going to drop that. It'll probably be a week or so before I drop that video on that one. But I will say, I'll say right now, I was a little disappointed in the on-road driving. Off-road, the thing's a little beast, man. The 4 low in that thing, it's like a tank. I seen that as a comment somebody made, and it's a great, comparison. It's like a little tank, man. The low gear in that thing is perfect. The big 35s, you're going to crawl over pretty much anything you want to. Now, when 35s become standard, we're all going to go, man, I can't wait till they put 37s under these things. But 35s under a midsize truck like this one, boy, that is that's a spicy combination. And I wish Ford would do something like this. And if they do a trimmer, I understand Raptor. The Raptor's about speed, and it was hard to compare these two trucks just side by side because they both are on the different spectrum of what they're built for. But I think it is still a fair comparison because this is the top dog that Chevrolet has, and this is the top dog that Ford has for their midsize lineup. But if Ford were to take the trimmer and do, say, I would imagine it's just going to be a 2.7 in that thing, but they just do a trimmer with maybe 35s on it in front and rear lockers, I think then this really gets spicy because Ford would have a speed demon, and then they would have more of a true off-roader. And when you think of true off-roaders, you think of you think of Toyota. Like I said, we're going to get into that a little bit. But there was a bunch of good comments in here, and if you guys ever read the comments, man, interact with each other. I will say there's some just dickheads out there that just want to be like F Ford, F Chevy. Like, don't do that, man. Constructive criticism. Obviously there's certain brands we all tend to like. For what I do, I try to be as open-minded as possible. Right now, we spend a lot of time with the Ford products, but I would have the Colorado in a heartbeat. But just remember in the comments, let's play nice, as it were. Like this one here. So the Ranger is so plain looking. Now, I think that's part of the problem with Ranger is, we basically got just whatever the Australian versions got. We basically got that. They had to change a couple of side running lights, stuff like that. But basically, we got what they did. They cranked up the horsepower, I think, by like 8 horsepower or something like that. Nothing ridiculous. But I have to say, you look at the front end of it, it looks pretty identical to a normal Ranger. I mean, yes, it's got the FORD on the front of it, but we didn't get the amber running lights. There's a few things that we just didn't get with that truck that I hope they course correct pretty quickly on that, because that's been one of the complaints that I've seen from the Raptor crew buying these things is, hey, no running lights. Well, yeah, it's not wide enough to need that, but guess what, Ford? It's kind of that classic look of the Raptor, and I think people would have liked to have that. And the once again, the running lights being amber. I think Bronco got it, so they had to make a special housing for that for Bronco. So why couldn't we have done that for Ranger? But then again, Bronco's also $93,000, and the Ranger right now is starts at 55, I believe. So there is a little bit of that where I can see trying to keep costs down on that truck a little bit. But the flipping over to the Colorado, man, if you guys watched the video of my walk around and review of that vehicle, there's some things about that as well. I think the interior is just awful. And me and Kelly were being nice in that video about it, but as I sit and think about that just a little bit longer, I think that that light gray interior, just I know they're trying to do something different and make it look different from maybe the other trucks, but I'm sorry, black leather is classic. It's just classic, and I like the yellow pinstripe. I don't like it with that light gray, but you could have done black leather with pinstriping and give it, Chevrolet knows they knew the Raptor was coming, so this wasn't like oh wow, we didn't expect that. The Raptor in the interior of it is gaudy to some people. It's zany, it's crazy, but I think that's what people are buying, and that's what they want. And I think you would expect just a little bit more from a ZR2, especially if you look at the Bison's pricing. That pricing, that is ridiculous. $65,000 as tested on the one we reviewed, and I like it. Trust me. I like 35s under it. I like the AEV bumpers on it. I think those are great. I think in the video I did say that the Bronco or the Ranger didn't have metal bumpers, which it does. There are some plastic components to that versus what the ZR2 has. And if you see, I did flash in that video. I did flash mostly metal bumper, but somebody was giving me hell about that in one of the videos. I was like, look, man, when we do these, especially these press tours where there's every manufacturer has something for us, it's kind of a circus of like, hey, here's all of our cars. You don't get the day or 2 days or 7 days that I would with a press loan. So you've got to quick hit it, these videos, and I think that's why you will see errors from time to time for me, and I'll be the first to admit it. But I think if you ever seen some of the other journals have to do this, you'll catch things that they, you know, you try to study up the best you can, but well, sometimes we do miss things. But both trucks are amazing. But the comments, once again, were, you know, pretty fun. The price difference is so large, I don't see it as a true competition. The value of the Ranger Raptor is superior as an all-around truck. Now, you could debate that just a little bit as an all-around truck. You know, there are some limitations to it. It's not going to tow as much as the normal, the XLT Ranger would. But once again, nothing a Raptor does, as well as the ZR2 doesn't either. I think I don't know, I wish I would have focused on the ZR2 just a little bit of the way they attach the back wheel, that spare tire in the bed. Just looked a little cheap to me. I would have rather seen them just do a center mount, like a more of a Baja style mount, than what they did. And I'm sure there's probably some weird crash testing, something that causes them not to do that. But I would have liked to seen something look a little better on that truck. But you know, here's another one. I'll take the regular ZR2. Best looking is the Taco though. So, and we'll get it. I don't want to say the Taco stuff. This one was hilarious to me. The Bison is capable of going places that the Raptor simply can't. Better looking and more equipment. What more equipment does it get? Because they both get front and rear lockers, heated seats. You do get cooled seats in the Bison, which, trust me, those are nice. You do not get that in the Raptor, but you do get a heated steering wheel in both vehicles. They're both are definitely built for different things. So, you know, you got to take that. Here's another one, Ford Ranger. I love it. Raptor all day. There's some zany ones out there too, so I don't want to get too much into this. Here was a great one, and this is a great way to segue into this. These are both great trucks, and Toyota should be sitting in the basement in sales. And I'm curious, I want your comments on this, where you guys think, because I kind of would agree with that right now. And like I said, I'm not brand loyal to any of these, even though once again, I own a lot of Ford products right now. But why I own a lot of Ford products is because I think in each segment that I've bought, they're just doing something fun right now. We would buy a Jeep Wrangler if they update it past what it is now, putting a new radio in it. It's not really an update to me. So I would love to have a Wrangler to compare against the Bronco, but there's been no big major refreshes to that. We bought the Mustang that you see on our driveway because I think it's the most affordable, highest power thing you can buy, and I wanted to do some time in that. And then the Raptor, you guys know, it's a dream truck of mine, so that's why I bought that vehicle. And if it just looked as good as a Colorado, though, man. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love the Ranger look, but I just like that aggressive nature of the Chevrolet and GMC a little bit better. What's up, Bug Guy? Hope you guys are having a great Friday. So, Toyota and the sales. So we do know, I mean, Tacoma, everybody's like, oh, sales are down right now. Well, they're just switched into new models. So I'm kind of curious what this second quarter is going to end up like, see where sales are, because I think we're going to see a big jump in those figures. But after driving the Tacoma, I would be worried if I was Toyota. I really would be. And I don't want to give too much of the video away that's coming up, but I was disappointed. I was very disappointed, and I was excited for that truck to come out. You know, 16 was the last time that we got a new Tacoma. I remember that truck coming out. I remember being excited about that truck. At the time, I had a Nissan Frontier, super cheap guy over here. And just all the tech and stuff that you know, Toyota offered from the get-go in that thing, like all the sand controls. I remember the press launch, they would bury trucks and, you know, let their MTS system kick it out and get it out of the sand and stuff. That was mind-blowing, and to see where we've grown now with all these nanny features in these trucks. But I was you know, Toyota did improve seating position. You can't hide that. They did listen to their customers and did fix a few things, because the seating position was horrendous. It reminded me of riding in an 80s import truck. I mean, your legs were just way out. I'm only 5'8". I just felt tiny. I felt like a 6'5" guy in these trucks. So if you're over 6 foot, man, I feel for your life trying to squeeze yourself in one of those old trucks. But the new Taco did fix some of those things, but it had a price. And Toyota's prices right now are just, I hate to say ridiculous, but they are when you compare to, we've got two other trucks that have just come out. You know, the Colorado came out in 23. Clearly, inflation was happening with that's going on. Ranger now. Ford hasn't, you know.
Some web results. I can show them if you ask again from your iPhone.
Hey Siri, stop. Thanks, Siri.
There's nothing to stop here.
But I could see Ranger. You know, the price came out last May. They didn't increase price. We had that big strike for Ford for all the big three, and they had a good chance where they could have went time out. We got to adjust prices. We got to change prices and fix this. Ford didn't do that. Now I do expect us to see a price bump with the new. It'll be probably August, 1st of August, sometime. We'll get a new price sheet on the Rangers as well as Colorado. I do expect them to react to what Toyota's doing, which is unfortunate. And I don't know the reason why Toyota felt like they needed this big price increase. Now, did they offer so much more tech that it's ridiculous? Not really. I mean, yeah, you're getting the new screens and stuff, which I'm gonna pull up a picture of those because I'm not completely sold on their look. And let me share this real quick. Maybe. There we are. So this was the interior of the Tacoma. It was a TRD Offroad. Now, at first glance, I'm not like, oh my God, this is awful. But when I started just in the 45 minutes or so I had with the vehicle, I don't know that I would want to live with this vehicle. For one, I love, if you watch our Lexus review, I love the dash, how it just kind of it just curves right into the radio. If you can see my little cursor there. I don't like all these harsh, I don't know, wasted space, as it were. I feel like you could have concluded this into this. You could have put pockets of something. I mean, everybody loves extra cargo space of some sort, whether it be your phone or whatever. The radio just looks like they dumped it in there, which is strange that I say this about the Tacoma because I've been a big fan of the Tundra. The TRD Pro Tundra, I love. Now, I think it's ridiculously priced at $75,000. But I've loved that. And I like a lot of the looks. But for some reason in the small trucks, all these little harsh angles, everything about it just throws me off. Now you do get real tactical feeling buttons down there, which was nice. Shifter position, just like the GMC, I would have liked to see it closer to the driver just because the way I naturally put my arms down resting on a shifter. But the Toyota was way better than the Chevrolet on that situation. I just feel like even the knobs of some of this stuff down here for your off-road controls, they don't feel as quality as I think I would like them to feel. Now, and I'm not dinging this on cheapness, like it's just cheap, because it's not. But when I compare this to the Ranger that kind of has the same center knob, the Colorado kind of has the same center knob. There's just certain things about this that I just felt like were just meh. And I don't know how to describe it any better than that. But guy, does the Tundra and Taco share any engine parts? That's a great question. Obviously, it's two different engines. The design of the engine is pretty similar. So I don't know on the whole engine issue right now. Does the Ranger FX4 have crawl control features like the Taco? It does have some crawl control features. Each Ford product, the higher you go into the trim levels, they tend to give you a little bit of extra features. I've not got to do any time in the FX4. I've sat in an FX4 and I got to play around with it a little bit, but Ford has not given us here's an FX4 to go test. So I'm a little, I don't want to 100% say, but from what I've seen on their build and price stuff, you do get some features. Now, I personally, I'm not big on the crawl control features anyways, because I'm more of an old school. I wish we had a manual transfer case. I'm not a manual guy anymore. I don't mind manual shifting on a sports car, but in trucks, that's not for me anymore. But I do like the old manual transfer cases. You know it was engaged. It's not hoping the computer does it. Oh, there's some solenoid that's not, because it's not triggering it right, working. I always go worst case scenario with that stuff. But back to the interior of the Tacoma here. I mean, we have a nice pocket up here. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a big fan of this Tacoma stamped in the way they do, or it's embossed out. I just feel like that's just, as goofy as it sounds, it's just a way somebody can just get hurt somehow. So I can just see my kid scratching his face across the dash somehow, not paying attention and not wearing a seatbelt, something like that, or in an accident, man. You know, somebody's going to not wear their seatbelt and they're going to have taco embossed backwards in the back of their head. The start button for Toyota, I like that it's red. It doesn't fit anything else in the truck. There's nothing else about this interior of this truck that screams, oh man, TRD. Yeah, you can see it on the shifter, just a little dot of red. But for this being TRD, you would think you would get just a little more. Nothing in the interior screams this, though I will say the seats in this are way better than the TRD Pro. So I will give it that. The buttons here on the steering wheel, big buttons, which I do like, but overall it's just sort of meh. It's just bland. There's not enough to it. The screen, once again, it's okay. The cameras, the way Toyota does the cameras, where it's the 360 cameras, but it's kind of going around the vehicle at all times, that's goofy to me. I'm just not a fan of that. I wish Toyota would learn. You know, Toyota's, come on, I know you've been the king of sales, but you're not above learning from what the lower trims seem to do. Ford does a great 360 around it. The Chevrolet that we tested had a nice 360 view around it. Plus, Chevrolet gives you the underbelly camera, which is it's expensive. I think it's $500 extra for that. But if you're living out west where you're kind of going over stuff and you might be by yourself, you're an overland or something like that, where you can't just get out of your truck, in and out of your truck all the time, having a lot of cameras could be beneficial. But overall, this thing, the interior of it, it was just, yeah, it was there. And then I look at, oh, wrong one. Let me pull up. This is, I need a better picture of mine. Let's try and find a better picture. Here's the Chevrolet I'll bring up. If we can, it's a little too close, but it's what I have right now. So there is the Chevrolet of it. A little, I just like the layout a little bit better. I like the fact that Chevrolet made the screen sort of blend into the rest of the dash. It just looks more finished to me. I think Toyota was kind of like that aggressive. They know overlanders love their vehicles. That kind of the crowd that, you know, whether they be ex-military or people that there's something about overlanders that seem to lend itself to the military look. Maybe they wanted that aggressive, broken up look to appeal to that buying segment. I could be way off on that. But the Chevrolet, and we mentioned this in the video, they always have this more car approach to their interiors, which is nice. The last Colorado, I like the last Colorado. I really felt like I was in a Malibu or something when I sat inside. It still felt truck-like, but the way they everything wraps around you, I think they do a good job with that. And my biggest miss on the Chevrolet is the positioning of the shifter. It's awkward when you have to kind of lean your hand, like turn it right. I don't know. But with Chevrolet, you're getting still, as you can see here, you're getting the front and rear locker buttons, which Ford, that's a huge miss on the Raptor. Just a huge miss on the Raptor. That it's all in the tech of it. It's all in the screen of it. And I think for Ford, I think where Chevrolet knows this is more of a off-road, let's go off-road, I hate to say like a rock crawler, but more of that kind of attitude, where the Raptor's attitude is like, let the tech do it. So I think Chevrolet is positioned themselves well to allow that segment, maybe the older school segment that they know, or I want to engage when I want to engage. I want to push buttons. I don't want to scroll through tech. And I think Ford is more about let the truck, you just put it in the mode you want it in and let us handle it for you. So Andrew says Ford should bring the Everest to the United States. It would sell well in the United States. I think you're going to see that, Andrew. I do think that you're going to see that. I've got a build and price video I've done on it. It does seem pretty affordable in this crazy world we live in right now. But it does seem to fit in their price line they like. But if they were to do that, I could see something like the Explorer going away. And I like the Explorer ST quite a bit. But I don't want to see, you know, you look at Toyota's lineup of, they got 16 different SUVs. I don't want to see Ford and them do that. do sizes, a couple segments, and that's it. But a body on frame SUV like the Everest would be pretty badass here. Scott Day says that thing just screams ugly. I presume that was talking about the Toyota, because yes, I'm just the more I rode in that vehicle, the less I liked it. Andrew says Ford wins with engine choice, headlight knobs, and shifter placement. I will say, you know, I got thinking about this headlight issue, and I made a fun comment about it in the walk around we did of the ZR2, and somebody poked at me about it and it's like, hey, do you ever, you know, really use it? And no, the only time I use the headlight button in the Raptor or any of my current vehicles is if I'm at a drive-through or something. I'm trying not to blind the person in front of me, or we will go to our local drive-in Sonic, and there's always cars in front of us or somebody sitting at the tables. I'll just politely turn it off that way because I don't want to blind somebody. They're trying to enjoy their meal. But that's the only time I use it. So I think ultimately in the Chevrolet, that's probably just a wash. And I can't remember, somebody was talking about the cost of physical buttons for manufacturers now, and why you're seeing more of this stuff in the screen. You know, programming is a lot cheaper than building physical buttons, making them work, you know, like they should. So that's why you're starting to see all this thing go into the screens. And I can see for Chevrolet, you know, with this truck being designed right in the middle of a pandemic, they're probably looking at ways of cost savings, plus the fact that they don't, you know, microchips at the time, if you all remember that, it was a nightmare. So I think if you just build it into the computer system, probably they didn't think anybody would bitch about it till, well, people started bitching about it. Chevrolet screen, the center stack screen of theirs, I love the font they use. It's crisp, it's real easy to read, and I will say that about all the manufacturers. I haven't seen really any that I'm like, man, that's awful. Maybe Nissan needs to catch up just a little bit, but I would say the Frontier doesn't feel like, oh my god, this is just garbage. I like the circle vents that they put in this truck. It's just kind of fun. But once again, this is the interior of the Bison. There's nothing like the Toyota. There's nothing to scream, hey, I'm fun. And I think a high performance vehicle, if you're making the king of your jungle, they should kind of be slightly obnoxious, because it's, you know, nobody looks at the Corvette right now and it's like, man, that's bland. No, they like the Corvette. It's aggressive looking, and I feel like if you're going to do a high-end trim, especially the Bison, and I said this for a while, I wish when they did Bison, they would have offered just more than 310 horsepower too. They could have bumped it up 10 more horsepower, give us 320 horsepower, make it feel special. And the Bison package just doesn't feel special enough. Now, I've read the comments of people going, hey, I got my ZR2 for 53. More power to you on that one, man, because that's a huge savings versus, and you're basically getting everything except it doesn't have the stitching in there. So you're definitely saving a bunch of money that way. I will say the Bison, I like their bumpers on it. The front bumper looks pretty aggressive. Now, I don't believe it's winch ready, so I would probably end up replacing that. The rear bumper, I would probably never replace. Now, my Ranger, I would probably like to replace both bumpers. I saw a really aggressive looking bumper the other day for the rear that I like quite a bit, but I'm holding back on whether I modify that vehicle or not. I still have a few more press things I need to do with it as is, but I'm really like trying to hold back of not modifying the vehicle too much. But back to this thing here, that was the big takeaway from me though, is this is just not special enough versus the next truck up, which is the Ranger. And let me pull this up once again. It's not the best picture, and I apologize for not having a great photo of this, but here is this was me driving the other day going down the road, and I mean, look, red accents, and I don't think Ford even went far enough with the Ranger. The center racing zero stripe, it's code orange. Now they're not doing that on the new Raptors. They still give you the center stripe, but they've kind of muted that a little bit. But there was even some stuff on this one here. I thought they could have went a little further. The steering wheel of this truck feels like what you're getting. You're getting paddle shifters as well. And as tested, my truck was right at $58,000. As tested, the ZR2 Bison was $65,000, and as tested, the TRD Offroad that we did was just, I think, a hair over $55,000. So obviously the Toyota is the cheapest, the Raptor's second cheapest, and then the Colorado would be the most expensive. But there's a few things on this truck that I don't like. I don't like this big bubble up here. I think I've mentioned this in a video. It's wasted space to me. I would rather, and there's a speaker or something in there, but I would rather had like a tray of some sort that I could have put something in. I've got all the lights over here, and I don't know if there's anything in this part of the stack of it. I like that Ford gave me a more usable center screen. They've kind of squared that off or rectangled that off a little bit better, where others are trying to be more, I don't know, fancy with it. The center stack of their screen, I like sync very much, but I like the layout of this better because it doesn't feel like it's just on top of, like they didn't throw this on top of the dash and let's hope the glue holds. It felt or feels more accustomed to being in the vehicle, and even the Chevrolet is that way to me. It just feels like it belongs in the vehicle, and that's one thing. Toyota, once again, I don't know what's going on with that, and I'm kind of shitting on the Toyota just a little bit, but I think it's a great vehicle. Toyota they know how to build a quality vehicle, but it's just this for some reason. And I was told that the U.S. designers had more of a hand in this vehicle than they ever have before. And I don't know that the focus was like, I feel like it was like done by committee, where they let maybe the big three brands let their designers, like their interior squad, go, here, this is you guys come up with it. We're going to shove it under what the outer skin that we have. But that's kind of breaking down the interiors of the things a little bit. Seating wise, I believe somebody was asking. Let's see. Anthony says, when you test the rear seats, are you able to put a dog in the rear to see how they fit with a medium-sized dog? One factor for me picking up one is vehicle and my dog care in mind, which is very cool. I try not to put I have a upper medium-sized dog. Brooks, come here. Come here. Let's see if I can show you all my dog. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come on. Yeah. So as you can see, I have a pretty big dog in there. Good boy. All right. And he's been in my Bronco, but I wouldn't put him in the Raptor because I just don't want the Raptor's the Bronco's ours forever. The Raptor, I don't want anything torn up, so I wouldn't put him in there. And then the Raptor has that kind of suede Alcantara. I don't need dog hair sticking all over that. But would he fit back there by himself comfortably? 100%. I think in all three trucks, 100%. I think you could get even a big size dog carrier in the back of these things, and if they needed to be in a carrier, and they would be fine. But past that, the seating positions themselves, though, Ford wins out by a long shot. We did it when we were at the Chicago Auto Show. We were sitting in the rear of these vehicles. The Tacoma, you're upright. It's for short term, you'd be okay, but I wouldn't want to sit back there for a long period. I think small children are fine, but I think grown adults, no way. Colorado would be second in that list. I think Colorado is pretty comfortable, and I think Colorado and the Nissan Frontier would probably be about tied. That they both feel pretty similar. And then I think the Ranger wins out on that. It's just a little bit more comfortable, not by miles, but it is. If I have to compare all three or all four of those trucks, that's how I would rank them. And Frontiers would be surprising in many categories. I don't know if you guys are interested in any Nissan products. I know some people like to kind of shit on Nissan from time to time. I'm not one of those. I like underdog car brands, and I think they build a pretty honest truck for the budget they're allowed. You're still getting a naturally aspirated V6 engine, kind of the last of the dying breed there, and it's 310 horsepower. And I have a feeling that Nissan could offer, if they could just do a turbo version of that engine they're using, I think it could be a lot of fun. I really do. That 3.8 has a lot of potential. Nissan's always built strong engines. The last Frontier engine was strong. The Titan engine, definitely strong. So but I would like to see, I show it from time to time. I had a spy photo of a potential Nissan Frontier Warrior Edition, And Nissan needs to have the balls to build this damn thing. And I don't know why they don't have the balls to do it. But if they were to take this 3.8 and just single turbo it, get it up to 340, 350 horsepower, something like that, people would go nuts, man. And that brand needs a win. But we're going to see a refresh on that truck next year. But back to the trucks themselves. I'm going to pull up some outside shots here so we can kind of glance at them real quick. So here is this is the ZR2. This was after I took this thing out on the road, so that's what's going on right there. It's all dirty, and oh, I apologize. No, this was after we off-roaded with it. The wheels of this truck, I think this truck is, and I think the GMC looks just a hair better, but this front end they do, man, is so aggressive. And when you see it in person with these big 35s, and I'm not a big fan of these Goodyear MT tires they're doing, but with the wheels, this truck, the aggressive nature of the truck looks great. I love the fog light positions. I like that they could have like put these humongous gaudy fog lights in there, and they didn't do it. They kept it small but very useful. Clearly AEV branded stuff all over it. You're getting tow hooks, all that. Ultimately, this thing, it looks super aggressive, and it kind of undercarriage a little bit of this thing. We did not drag it all when we were in this vehicle, which is a good thing. Here's a nighttime shot of my Raptor. Let's pull it back out here because I have some other shots for you. For those fans of Ford, we were at a press event with Mike Levine the other day, and I snapped a picture. This is Mike Levine's Raptor, which is pretty similar to mine. You know, when you look at this versus the Colorado, it's just not aggressive enough looking. There's not the hourglass kind of look to this truck that I wish it would have had. The Raptor grill looks great. No running lights in here. That's a big miss to me. And they were throwing money at this thing because they had to change. They had to put the side markers, and they had to bring the third brake light had to be up in the cab for U.S. standards. They were spending money, and this would have been a drop in the hat to spend money on this vehicle. Even if you charged $1,000 more, people wouldn't have noticed it. And also, I would like to see a Raptor R version of this truck. I'd like to see them drop the 3.5 in this and give us on 35, something like that, to mimic the F-150 Raptor. I think that'd be a lot of fun. But let's see here. There's the shifter problem that I was telling you about. It's just in an awkward position. On the trails, this thing was a little beast. Once again, you drop this thing in 4 low, and like somebody said in the comments, it's a tank. It is a tank. And the big tires, we didn't drag on anything. Not that they didn't have these obstacles. We had a nice rock garden, but past that, there was no real obstacles to worry about. Here's the Toyota. I don't dislike the design of the Toyota. I just think there's a lot going on there. I like the fenders that Toyota does, that kind of boxy look to the fenders. I think Toyota was smart, and they knew people wanted to put larger tires on us, so I feel like they gave us a lot of extra room to do that. The bumpers, they've always tucked their bumpers up high. They've always been smart with off-roading, but this tailpipe is so low on this thing. And all these lines just going around it, it's just so busy to me. And once again, it's pretty similar to the full-size truck, which I like. But for some reason, when you shove it all in a smaller package, it just kind of loses out for me. This is a big mistake too. The TRD badging they use does not look like it belongs on this truck. You've got this ultra modern looking truck. TRD could have given the truck line something a little more special. It doesn't wait. You can see the lines through here where the body lines are. Let me see if I can find the side shot again. It just looks like an afterthought. And I said this when I saw this vehicle a year ago. I think I did a video on this truck when some spy photos were going around. I was like, that just doesn't look like it belongs. So, and those are nitpicky things, you know, most people probably peel those off anyways, but I would have liked to seen them just give us something a little more aggressive. I mean, because I think for Toyota, now knowing the price of the TRD Pros, I think the off-road is a great sweet spot. I think, you know, this truck had the stay bar disconnect, which we did use. There was some good features about this truck. I think this is going to be volume of their off-road sales truck. But No front locker, which is a miss. I know talking Toyota engineers are like, we think our crawl control features make up the difference, that we don't need to do that. But if you're having to tell yourself that and sell audiences on that, you probably know that the true off-roader in them went, well, we probably should have put a front locker in these things, or at least have an option of it. The TRD wheels that are on this thing are a miss to me. I've never liked TRD wheels though. So, and that's just my personal preference. But, you know, you're getting painted capped mirrors, the handles, all that looks great. Once again, the interior of this thing, off-road. I believe we have the stay bar disconnected here for this shot. It was just meh. The 4-cylinder in this truck, which is that's the Achilles heel of this truck. And I know a lot of Toyota fanboys that are hardcore fanboys want to lie to themselves about that. And I don't think most of them have driven the truck. The truck is not exciting. You get into the gas pedal of this thing, it's just meh. Now, granted, I'm coming from a Ranger Raptor, which probably isn't the most fair thing. But even some of the Nissans that I've driven, they're more spunky than this thing. I would say this is only this out of the three, say Ranger, Toyota, and the GM twins. This is the weakest feeling engine out of the three, and that's not saying much because I'm not a fan of the engine that they're putting in the Colorado. I think when we got some on-road impressions of that, it was just like, does this go? I remember Kelly stomping it one time when we were out on the highway, and it was just like, we'll get there. Eventually we'll get there. And this truck is no better. And we all know they're putting 4 cylinders in it. You keep chopping off cylinders for emissions. That's how they do it. It's the easiest way to get emissions down. But these turbo engines that they're doing right now, and I'm not against turbo engines, but I think that they're, you know, Toyota, they're already now what's 270, I forget, 270, 280 horsepower in this little thing, when every other competition is 310. They're just lying to themselves if they think that people are like, that horsepower doesn't matter. Now, yes, it's a turbo engine, so you're going to have tons of torque. But guess what? Every turbo engine has that, so that's no big deal. Yes, the TRD Pro and the Trail Hunter is going to have the hybrid system, which I love Toyota's system of how they've done that to give extra horsepower and torque. That's great at a cost because the damn battery pack in that thing's heavy as hell. But the driving of this truck was just, it was not inspiring. And now I don't need a pickup truck to like be a Ferrari. But it should, in this day and age where everything drives pretty damn decent, you should feel excited to drive this. And this is when I would say this truck, if I owned it, would not be a truck that I went to a grocery store and would constantly look back and go, cool, I got that truck. The Raptor I do all the time. If I had the ZR2, I would do that all the time as well. But this truck here, I don't know why I'm down on this truck. My feelings are on it. Other than the fact that it just drives bland, the interior is way overdone, too many harsh angles. But it's going to be, you know, it should hopefully have Toyota's quality. And as we say that, I want to talk a little bit. I got to bring this up, so bear with me. I want to get into Toyota's quality a little bit because our buddies over at Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk, Tim Esterthal, I won't say he broke the story, but because it's been out for a while, but he's been talking about the new Toyota quality issues. So let's bring this up. And this has to, you know, even though we're talking midsize trucks, this has to bleed over into midsize truck a little bit. That they're recalling basically every Tundra right now. They're just basically calling every Tundra they've sold since 21. Over some engine failures, and they were slowly happening, but I think Toyota thought it was just sort of a coincidence. Oh, we had this batch that was going, but now they're going crazy with it. And I've seen people now freaking out too. Oh my God, they're gonna pull the body off the truck. Guess what? When they put the engine in, the body's not on it. That's why they do it. It's the most efficient way to do the job quickly. And the quicker they do the job, the less it costs the customer, or in this case, Toyota. So that doesn't bother me. But I'm going to throw this link in the comments here because Tim really did a great job of breaking down the cost of everything, of why, you know, it's basically $30,000 to replace one of these engines in this truck. And with this, you know, Toyota's truck, they look similar. So guess what? There's going to be that if the big truck, oh my God, they're falling apart. They're not lasting. Where's the Toyota quality? It's got to bleed into the little truck, or I would think it would. And as somebody asked, hey, you know, there are any common parts? There are certain things that are common, but not the engine. I think the block design is similar, but I wouldn't say past that. I wouldn't say there's many common parts used, maybe turbos, stuff like that. Of course, Toyota's already battling the wastegate issue in the big truck. That was only in the first couple hundred, but that got blown out of proportion, much like Ford with the 2.7 in the Bronco. I think they had 56 or so that detonated early. It was a very early run, and after that, just brand is like, oh my God, the 2.7 is just garbage. Like, I've had a 2.7. I got 30,000 miles of mine, 0 issues. Now, knock on wood, because I don't want any issues, but still. So how does this affect this big recall? How is this going to affect Toyota as far as sales with the Tacoma? I'm curious. Leave me a comment, or let's talk about this a little bit, because I really think this is a black eye to Toyota truck sales right now. And Toyota's already, you know, car sales are tanking. Yes, they're due. It's got a new Camry out, which looks great. Toyota, they're still doing some sports cars. Supra was rumored to be going away now in 26. GR Corolla, you know, they have some fun things, but truck sales are where it's at for these companies now. That's their highest source of income. You know, the profit on these trucks are great. So if Toyota is, you know, the big three are just itching, or the big two, we'll say, Ford and Chevrolet, and of course Nissan as well, and maybe even Honda. Maybe there's somebody that likes Ridgeline, but they're just itching over there, going, they've been waiting for a chink in the armor that they can just kind of get that knife into. And I think this might be between the design of the Toyota, the look of it, and now some quality concerns. I think this is the chance the Ford and Chevrolet have of stealing some sales away. The sales of the Colorado have been pretty good. The Ranger sales, we don't know too much just yet, because, you know, first quarter they were still getting the truck out to market, so you can't look at first quarter, because I think in the US they only had like maybe 100 actual 23 Rangers still sitting around. But I'm half concerned for the Toyota Tacoma right now. I watch all the forums. I see the way people are talking. There's always the hardcore fanboys that are going to overlook or accept that in every brand, that are going to be like, it's Toyota, we're fine. But there are some swing people to the Tacoma that maybe had that last generation truck, which was pretty bulletproof, to be honest. And the previous, all the Tundra or Tacomas have been very bulletproof, other than maybe some frame issues on those. On some of the, I know the early Tundras had some frame issues. I can't remember. I don't think Tacoma did, but and as long as Ford and Chevrolet can keep quality up, that's the biggest thing for me, is keeping quality up with another brand having some issues. And Ford struggles with quality. Chevrolet is not far behind on that as well. A lot of times the big two like to just let the dealers handle those issues, but it's a black eye. Everybody likes to, it's an easy story to write. If I need to talk about something, unlike today, this is just coincidence, but you can always talk about quality issues, and people will read it or watch it. But let's see, the Tundra is made in Texas though, which is 100%, and tacos are made in Mexico. But guess what? Out of all of Toyota's like overall quality, that plant in Mexico has always been one of their highest quality plants. Now, I'm not sure where the engines are built on the Tundras. I would presume it's in the United States. And I would also presume that maybe the engines are built, the four-cylinder would be built in the United States as well. I know they have a plant in Japan that builds some of this stuff. But yes, a lot of people will go, okay, it's built in, oh, thank you, sir. A lot of people go, oh, it's built in Mexico, that means it's cheap quality. Out of all the manufacturers, usually the Hispanic plants are the better quality of by far. It's not even close versus American builds. So I give it a pass on that. I think for Toyota, it's just been that perfect storm of this truck coming out. You had the pandemic. You had they're trying to launch a new vehicle or get it ready to launch. And I also think this is the first time that, once again, American engineers have had more of a hand in say in this vehicle. And that's kind of it's a perfect storm for Toyota that they didn't need. Now, I just spent some time with some Toyota people, and they'll spin this of like, oh no, years of quality, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, I think this is it's a black eye they didn't need. And especially when you start seeing photos of Tech said dealerships love photos of cabs off of vehicles, and those always circulate. Toyota doesn't need that kind of press. They don't need those kind of photos out. And once those start circulating, it's really going to be bad for the brand. And at some point, they're going to have to do some advertising. They're going to have to do something about quality. But I'm curious where you guys are at with this one. We're just right at an hour on this show. Normally, Tim Estral is with me, but he said he's going to shoot he had a car to go do a video on, so he couldn't join today. But I'd like some of Tim's feedback on this. Tim's always followed the Toyota brand very closely, so if you guys go check his videos out on his channel, he's done a real good job with the Toyota brand. I mean, he does a good job on it, but for some reason, he's always been close to the Toyota brand. Now, I do expect this. I know in a couple months, I think 2 months, I'll get my hands on a pretty much their whole truck lineup. I've got an event coming up that I'll be attending there, and past that, bad times. And I just did that Lexus video on the GX 550 that has this similar engine as the truck, the full size truck, and that makes me nervous because I would like to have that Lexus in my driveway. And I believe it was the what was it, the guides? I forget what the engine problem is that they're having, but it's not one you want, and it's a bad time for Toyota. So let's see. Engines are built in Alabama. I know Nissan has a plant here locally that builds in Tennessee, and then they ship them all over the world. Let's see. Bug Guy says, I don't think this will help get people excited about the new 4-cylinder in the Taco. No, this is not even though it's the full-size truck, it is a black eye to what they have for the little truck. And once again, if you ever drive that truck, it's very underwhelming. If you're very honest with yourself as well. I understand being a fanboy of something, and I encourage everybody to drive everything. If you're like, man, I love the Colorado, go try out the Ford Ranger, or go try out the new Tacoma, and then go drive that and be honest with yourself, and don't be just a brand fanboy. Because I think all of them offer something for everybody, and I think there's something you might find in a brand that you're not normally used to, that you may like, which you may buy and 100% regret it. So don't listen to me, basically. That's what I'm saying. Any more questions or comments on this stuff? I'll kind of briefly go over Tim's stuff here. So what they were saying in the truck is there's some potentially machining debris that wasn't cleaned out of the engines or cleared from the engines when it was produced, and can lead to engine knocking, engine rough running, engine no start, or loss of power. And I love this, loss of power. I can't highlight it. At high speeds can risk a crash. I love when lawyers get involved in this. But once again, Tim's got to look at. He broke down the prices of everything, what it costs to repair one of these vehicles, and it's pretty incredible that it's about $30,000 to do that. So I encourage everybody to go over to Pickup Truck Plus SUV Talk. They have a great forum as well. It's still in its early stages, but if you like trucks, Tim's got a forum for you. There's all kinds of good questions on there. I spend some time over there as well. So definitely go check that out. So it looks like you guys are not going to be very chatty in the comments today. So is it because Kelly's not here? Because I'll go get her. I'll go get Kelly if y'all chat a little bit. I kid, of course. If you're a fan of our Monday show, we will be back this coming Monday for our Ford Talk Live show. It's basically it's just turned into a car family. And I think there's a lot of people that aren't even Ford people that can join us in on that show. That's always good fun. If you ever have any questions or comments, by the way, you can reach us at Instagram at allterrain_nation_media. Or you can go to our website, allterrainnation.com. You can reach out that way if you ever have any questions or comments. But we greatly appreciate your support. If you smash the like button on these videos, once again, that means and does more than you would think. If you leave us a comment as well, that helps as well. We do have memberships. If you're ever curious about helping the channel grow, there's a membership on YouTube as well, and we do have a Patreon as well. So if that is that, it looks like you guys are. I'm gonna keep trying to do some Friday shows, see if we can build an audience here, and maybe we can get Mr. Tim in the next show. But till next time, guys. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these badass little mid-sized trucks, oh, let me put a pin in that. Jeep Wrangler and Tacoma video next week that you'll want to watch. So 2-door Wrangler in the recon package, which was a lot of fun. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, or these badass little trucks, you guys know I love to drive. This has been your All Terrain Nation. I'm your host, David Boyd, and we're out. Peace, everybody. Hey, thanks for joining in. Later.